come in here and play and knock the camera around almost every time. I think that's good, yeah? Yeah. All right. You can't be in there for sure. Yes. Okay, you stay on going. Going? Let's see if I'm good. See if I'm good. There we go. Animal farm. No, that's not true. It's just cats and dogs, but it's still a lot. Actually, I take that back. There's a turtle now. All right, you know a turtle. Yeah, you too. Let me do it again. Sorry, guys. I'm making a mistake. All right. I keep promising to get that fixed, and I swear it just never happens, does it? Good enough, I guess, right? All right. So, I don't know, just some fun stuff for today. Nothing crazy, unless you want it to be, right? Remember, you can always make things more or less intense, but maybe more or less playful, right? There's a class that I've done that was all like the goofiest yoga poses ever, right? Because some of them, let's get real, are rather silly. But so what, right? Remember when you would like turn yourself around in circles when you were a kid for fun? Now it just makes you want to throw up. Right? But we used to do these things just because we could, right? So if you approach a practice like that, sometimes it's just more, I don't know, it's just easier. We overcomplicate things sometimes, and we have to be so serious. We have to take this pose, and I forgot to plug my microphone in. So it makes it less fun and less enjoyable sometimes. Right? And if you don't enjoy things, you don't stick with them. Right now, I'm back to being a gym rat. But I don't love that, you know. I gotta find a yoga class that I really love. Otherwise, it might not last long. So, like I said, just a non-specific class, no particular area, but play with it and have fun and try things. And if the spirit moves you to add something different than where I'm at, absolutely do that. This is your class, and you make it what you want. So, starting seated, heels aligning to the groin as much as you can. Making sure that you feel upright on your pelvis. Prop if you need to prop, of course, in any pose. Relax into the shoulders. Lift the pelvic floor. The lower belly's in and up or tall through the sides. Go ahead and close your eyes and feel the bottom tips of your ears move back until your head feels like it's right over your shoulders. Sitting tall and just taking a moment to kind of assess what's going on in your body. Bringing that same attention to your breath. Breathing all through the nose, begin to stretch the breath out. And for just a moment this morning, go ahead and work to the extremes, right? So eventually inhaling bigger until you couldn't get any more full. Same thing with the exhales. Exhaling is completely count. So using that whole range of movement, even with just your lungs. And then finding the middle, finding the yoga breath. remembering the breath is. If you don't have that, it doesn't matter what the pose itself looks like. So let's keep that. Extend the arms out to the sides, and on the next inhale, stretch them up to the ceiling. And exhale them back down. We'll do it again. And then once more like that. Inhale back to the top. Exhale your right hand down. Tipping over to the right. Take a big breath here. Inhale, make your way back up to the middle. And then switch over to the left. Bring it back to center. Once more to the right. To the middle. And then last time, take it left. Coming back to center, inhale. Exhale, release. Let's bring it over onto all fours. Wrists under shoulders-ish. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Nice and even on the four corners of the hands. Knees under the hips. And then with the breath here, inhale the belly toward the floor. And exhale around the spine to the ceiling. Following the breath. Gradually moving a little deeper into the spine as we go. Once more in each direction. Finding your middle. Excuse me. So making your way into kneeling plank here. So let the body shift forward, four corners of the hands on the mat. Nice and even, belly's pulled in. Right? You can absolutely stay in a kneeling plank or just simply lift the knees away from the floor. We're holding here. So just take a moment. Belly's working, arms are working, back is working. From here, we're going to lift the hips to down dog. Let yourself shift, wiggle, move. And then settling in, pressing the heels back, pressing the chest back, let your head hang. Lifting the right leg, keeping the hips square, pressing through the heels, and then release it. Same thing on the second side, lift the left leg, holding. And then releasing. Instead of sinking the heels toward the floor, come up on the toes and take your heels over to the left. Keep your right hand firm on the floor. Bring it back to center and switch, heels right. Press hard into that left hand. Bring it back to center. Drop on down to the knees and sit back at child's pose. Make yourself comfortable here. We're not staying long, but especially this first one, you just want it to feel really good. So prop if you need to prop, of course. Back into down dog. So let's lift the right leg again. Keep the hips square, the belly is working. Shift into a three-legged plank here. You can drop the left knee if you need. We're just holding. Lift it back to three-legged dog. And release the toes. Switching sides, lift the left. Remember, you can rest in between if you feel like you need to. Shift it forward. Hold, breathe. Shift it back. And release the foot. Drop on down to the knees, back into your child's pose again. And then adding on one more fun little piece to that. So remember, take the parts that work, forget what doesn't, right? Add something different if that's where you're at, right? So we're making our way back to down dog. We're gonna lift the right leg. Shift forward into that plank, that three-legged plank. Back to three-legged dog. Open your hip, take the toes high, and then bend at the knee. Keep the shoulders square to the floor. Release the right foot. And we're switching to the left side. So lift the left leg. Keep the hips square as we slide forward into that three-legged plank. Back to three-legged dog. Open the hip, bend at the knee here. Release the left foot. Drop the knees. And sit back in your child's pose again. Let's go back to down dog. We're done with that for a minute anyway. Stepping the feet forward, we're gonna come to standing fold. And then just take a moment here in your fold, kind of lock in place a little bit. Wake those hamstrings up. Remember, if you wanna use a block here, have your hands supporting on the thighs or wherever they need to be. We wanna keep the spine, not straight is the wrong word, but not round. Finding your center here, so the feet are hip bone distance apart and your toes are pointing forward. Bend the knees if you need to. We're taking the index middle fingers, we're gonna wrap them around the big toes, taking the legs straight if you can. The elbows are gonna bend out to the sides. You can pull against your toes a bit here. And then releasing the toes, take those fingers to the lower back and interlace. Pull your shoulders together on your back. Stretch the arms away from the body. Maybe up off your lower back, maybe not. Just keep the shoulder blades pulling toward each other. And the knuckles stretching away. Another big breath. Release the arms. We're going to take the hands up to the thighs, lifting the upper body parallel-ish to the floor. Keep the belly in. Lean on the legs if you need. And then simply bend into the knees, coming into a chair. Tucking your tailbone if you feel like your butt's sticking out. Relax the shoulders down, hang on if you need, or bring the hands to center or extend. Interlace behind your back, any of the fancy things if you like. And then let's inhale, stretch it to the ceiling. Exhale to release it all. So from the top of the mat here, inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, take yourself over into a fold. Inhale and come halfway up. Exhale, stepping the right foot back into a lunge. Nice big step back there, wiggle around maybe a little bit. From here, we'll take the right leg straight, left leg straight. Right knee to the floor if you want it. Prop up here if you need it. And then bend back into the knee. We're going to step back into down dog. Inhale, shift forward into a plank. And then exhale down to the belly. Knees if you need knees, of course, elbows tight to your sides. Inhale, roll into the shoulders, just a tiny little lifting of the chest away from the mat. And then keep the elbows in, press up and back for down dog. We'll step the right foot forward this time. Wiggle your toes to your fingers, drop your back knee if you need it. Roll around to the hip. Find your center, pulling the legs toward each other, right leg straight-ish. Bending back into the knee, step forward into fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhaling forward again into the fold. And then all the way up, reach the arms to the ceiling. Exhale and release your arms. So let's do it again. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale into your fold. Halfway up. Exhale the left knee. We're going to bring the right hand to the hip and rotate around for a twist. Releasing the twist. Step back to down dog. Slide forward into plank. And drop on down. Roll the shoulders. Pull with the hands. Lengthen your spine here. Hug your elbows to your waist. And then release that. Up and back to down dog. And we'll step the left foot forward. So find where your feet need to be. Find your center and add the twist. Left hand to the hip. Let's release the twist. Step forward in the fold. Halfway up. Folding over again. And then all the way. Reach for the ceiling. And release. One more like that. So we're going to reach up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, right foot back again into our lunge. Find where you're stable and climb up on the thigh. Keep the right leg straight as you lift the upper body. Hang on if you need to hang on. Or change your arms up. One more big breath. Release the hands. Step back to down dog. Inhale, just slide forward into your plank. Exhale to the belly. Roll into the shoulders, pull with the hands. Maybe press a little bit, come higher, and then release back to down dog. Right foot steps forward. Take time, get your toes up there. Find stability and then climb on up here. Taking the arms where the arms need to be. Releasing back to our lunge. Stepping forward into the flow. Coming halfway up. Exhale, reach to the ceiling. And then release the arms. So let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the left foot. Right toes went forward, left toes cut in a little bit. When we bend the right knee, look down for the right big toe. Arms extending, warrior two. Big full breaths here, feel even weight right and left feet, legs. Bending the right arm, rest the forearm on the thigh and come forward. That left arm over the left ear. If it's too much for the shoulder, the arm can absolutely hang out at the hip. You can sink a little deeper into your legs. Right? Don't let your butt hold behind you. Keep the hips kind of stacked, really. Weight still even in your feet. Let's move back to warrior two. And then this time we're going backward. So bring the left hand to the back of the thigh, right palm turning toward the ceiling, reach up. And now see if you can drop that right shoulder back a little bit and turning your chest toward the ceiling. Bring it back to warrior two. Let's cartwheel the arms over for a lunge. Step back to down dog. And then again here, slide forward into plank. Drop down to the belly. And hold here. So the hands are next to the side ribs as much as possible, hugging in toward each other. Just like with baby cobra, we're going to roll our shoulders up and down toward the hip bones. So the chest lifts. We're pulling against the floor to add a little bit of length. Maybe press into the floor a little bit. So that lifts you higher. Keep the elbows in if you're feeling it. Press into the floor and maybe come up a little higher. So a little bit of baby bend in the elbows. Releasing. Making your way back to down dog. We're going to step that right foot forward again. And then walk the hands around into the center of a straddle. Hang out here for a second, toes point forward. You feel even on the four corners of your feet. Grab onto the opposite elbow and just really allow the upper body to hang. From here, we're going to walk the hands around to the left foot. Point the left toes at the back of your mat. Keep your right foot with the toes forward a little bit and lift the upper body. Warrior two-ish legs. Check it out if you need to make adjustments, certainly do. Arms parallel to the floor. Bending the left arm, bring the right arm up and over. Lean on the leg as much as you need to lean, but only as much as you need to lean. Let's move back to warrior two. That right hand to the back of the thigh, left palm toward the ceiling. Drop the left shoulder a bit, turning more toward the ceiling. And then back to warrior two. All the way over into lunge. Step back, down dog. Slide forward for plank. Drop down to the belly. And again, we're working our either cobra or somewhere in the middle. So keep the elbows in, the toenails on the floor. Roll those shoulders, curl the chest. Pull with the hands to find some space and length. And then press until maybe the arms are almost straight. If they are, can you lift your legs up off the floor? Your thighs. Your feet stay up. Gently release. Make your way back to down dog. And then we'll step that left foot forward again for our lunge. Walking back to the straddle. Turn your toes forward. Bend the knees if you need here. And then the index and middle fingers are wrapping around the big toes. Elbows bend out to the sides. Deepening the stretch. Release your toes. Take the fingers to interlace behind your lower back. Shoulders pull toward each other, and then knuckles stretch away. Just like with the feet together. Releasing the hands, walk them back around to the right foot. And we're step back to the top of the mat. Go ahead and take a little bend into the knees here and roll up through the spine, coming to stand. Okay, so balancing then. If you need a ball, you want to be off your mat or on. Sometimes if it's too squishy under your foot, it makes it a little challenging to balance. So do what you need to do. We're going to take the weight into the right foot, lift the left knee, and then open at the knee. Keep your pelvis square to the top of your mat or wherever you're facing. Okay? And then bringing that left foot to the inside of the right leg. Avoid the knee joint itself. You can have your toes on the floor or your foot up into the opposite thigh, maybe. Hug the legs together and stand up really tall. Palms can touch. Maybe extend. Together or open at the top. If you wanted to take cactus arms or do any of the fancy stuff, feel free. Changing your gaze sometimes adds a little bit of extra challenge. So looking up at the hands if that's you. And yes, I'll wobble on the right foot. Wobble, who cares? Gently release what you got. And we'll take the second side. So see what happens over here. Don't expect it to be the same because it's not always. On the way left, lift the right, open at the knee or hip, and then bring the right foot in. And again, just kind of see where it goes. Yes, you can absolutely pull that foot up and in as long as you can stand up after. Okay, hug it together, tuck the tailbone. We're nice and tall, and then the arms do what the arms do. Take a nice big breath wherever you are. Gently release it. Back to the top of your mat if you did step away. Let's stretch the arms up. Take it over into a fold. Stepping back to down dog. And then go ahead and drop down into a child's pose. Just kind of transitioning. We're done with our standing poses. All right, morning. Coming back up onto hands and knees here. Let's go ahead and slide the left knee up behind the left wrist. Stretch the right leg long behind. And you can keep the knee, my brain isn't working, man. Keep the knee behind the wrist, or you can open it out to the outside a little bit. Yeah. Left foot toward the right hand. And you're gonna find a place where the body says, yeah, that's it. And if any of it says, absolutely not, my knee doesn't like this, stop. Come out of it. We can do it laying down as well. So, right, working to keep the hips square. It's easy to sort of dump into the left hip. Trying to work to keep the legs as if you were pulling them together. Staying up on the hands if you prefer, or jumping down. And you can come down to your forearms. You can stack your fists and rest your head. You can use a block, or maybe you drop all the way down, forehead to the floor. Now, not just your forehead, right? You want to sink in through your hips to make your forehead meet the floor. And maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. Take one more breath wherever you are here. Make your way back up onto your hands. And take it back to your down. I transitioned from all fours before, sorry. Anyhow, bring the right knee up behind the right wrist. Stretch the left leg out long and drop that knee if it's not already. And the knee again can stay right behind the wrist. If that's too much, forget it. Because our sides are different. Take the knee out to the right a little bit if you can. Slide the right foot forward toward the left hand if you can. Keeping the pelvis level and square as you drop down or not. However far you drop down on this. Again, just notice that the body is not always the same. It can vary from day to day, side to side, sometimes minute to minute. And take just a couple more breaths over here. And then we'll be making our way back to down dog. Let's go ahead and drop down to the knees. Take it back to child's pose. Sliding forward out onto the belly. So working with locust, we're going to leave the toes on the floor for now. We're just taking the upper body, bringing the arms down by your sides, and or interlacing your fingers here behind your back. So you decide what's preferable. We want to keep the toes on the floor, turn your tailbone toward the floor. So you should feel your pelvis pressing into the mat. And someday in this pose that is your foundation, probably not today. Right? So we're going to roll our shoulders like we did for our cobra and our up dog here. Imagine taking the bottom tips of your shoulder blades down toward your hip bones, lifting your chest.
Let yourself breathe. You can get a little bit more lift if you make your belly hard, right? But don't. Breathing is more important. One more breath. Let's release that. Making a little pillow for your head with your hands. Rest your forehead or your chin on the pillow so the neck stays in a neutral position. And we're just going to work with the lower body then. Pelvis stays pressing into the floor. Spread your toes wide and imagine extending your big toes to the wall behind you. Lifting the legs using the hamstrings at least as much as your glutes. And then releasing the legs. We're going to put that together. So arms back down by your sides. You choose whether you want to interlace them or not. Pressing the pelvis into the floor, roll the shoulders to curl the chest, extend through the big toes, and lift the legs. Releasing. Taking the hands and making that pillow again. Turn your toes toward each other, and just a gentle little rock on your hips to release the back. Finding your center. Hands next to the side ribs again, keeping the elbows in, pressing up and back. One last down dog. Let's drop on down to the knees and come to sit. We're gonna have the legs out nice and long here. Toes pointing toward the ceiling, making sure that you feel upright on your pelvis. Lifting the arms, keeping the shoulders relaxed as we hinge forward into fold. Remember to just let your hands fall. Elbows maybe out to the sides, keep lifting the chest. Let's take another nice deep breath here. Inhaling to lift back up and releasing. So, taking the left shin parallel to the top edge of the mat. Flexing that foot. I feel like we did this not too terribly long ago. Right? We're going to flex the right foot and that outer ankle bone. See if you can set it on top of your left knee. If that does not work, bring it in front of. So it's a similar position to where we were when we were laying kind of on our bellies, right? Pigeon, similar. So listen to your body. See if you can keep your pelvis level. And allow the right knee to open as much as it will. If you've got more, take the hands to the soles of the feet. You're going to press your feet into your hands and your hands back into your feet. Sit nice and tall. You can hinge forward. Finding your stretch, whatever it looks like. We're gonna hinge back up again. Release the legs. And then switching sides, bring the right shin parallel to the top edge. Flexing that foot, same thing with the left foot, flex with that outer ankle bone, either on top of the right knee or in front of. So you don't want that foot sliding over and having your knee too far to the left. In theory, anyway, the shins are kind of stacked. Make sense? And then you add what you can add, whether that's pressing the hands into the feet and the feet back into the hands, hinging forward, just finding where the stretch is. It doesn't have to look like a certain thing. We're taking one more nice big breath over here. And then we'll hinge it up. Unhook the legs. Shake them out a little bit. And then taking yourself to your mat where you'll be able to roll back in a minute. All right, this second, put it in. Soles of the feet together. Hang on to the ankles. Lift the chest to sit up tall. And then lean back just enough to balance. So use your belly here. You could totally use your arms and barely use your belly at all. Right? But see about using your belly more than your arms. Without taking your feet to the floor, release your hands. So you can support with your hands on your thighs if you feel like you need to. We're going to take our knees together and squeeze. And we're open the knees again and squeeze the soles of the feet together. Do that again. Squeeze your knees. Squeeze your feet. One more time, knees. And then feet. Grabbing back to your ankles. And then go ahead and see care of your spine and roll on down. Soles of the feet stay together. We're going to release the feet to the floor and just relax the hips. Belly, the back, wherever you're feeling that. Bringing the knees back together. And then drawing the knees into the chest and rocking just a little. So take the feet flat to the floor. And when I said we were on our bellies and we were doing the pigeon pose there, I said you could do that on your back. This is the variation. So take your left ankle over your right knee, and that left knee is out to the side. Grabbing behind the right thigh here, draw the leg in toward your chest. You're getting the same stretch in your hip. I don't know where, you might feel it in a million other places, without the pressure on your knee so much. But again, if this is still not good, just skip that one. Let's release that side. And we'll switch with the right ankle over the left knee, pulling the right leg in toward the chest. As much or as little as your body allows. And we'll release that side. Drawing both knees back into the chest again. Taking the feet flat. So this time, cross your right knee over your left knee. So your legs are crossed again, but the knees are tight. Extending the arms out to the sides. Tuck this right foot behind the left calf if you have that ability. And then we're just going to drop the leg. Come on back to center. Don't uncross your legs. Keep them the same way. And then take your legs over to the right. Gently bring yourself back to the middle. And now uncross the legs, but recross them the other way. So the left knee on top. Right? Tuck your right foot if you can tuck your right foot. We're going to start with the legs over to the right again. Coming back to the center, legs cross the same way, and then over to the left. Bring it back up to the middle, and cross those legs. And then bring them into the chest one more time. Squeeze them in tight to the chest, pull it forward toward the knees. And then release that full body stretch. Fingertips to toes. Releasing that stretch. Finding Shavasana, whatever that's going to look like today. Making yourself super comfortable. And then just letting yourself be here for a moment. Releasing the muscles. You can release your breath. Let it do its thing. Keeping the mind present and quiet. Giving yourself just a few minutes of pure rest. Gently allow your breath to deepen. Just doing small movements of the body first. Keeping the eyes closed and mind in this quiet place as you slowly make your way back up to seated. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. All is good. So I won't be here next week or the following. By the following week, the weekend after that, I hope to have the plan for the 5-day, 15-minute challenge, the next one. So if you have questions or comments or suggestions or whatever, give me a shout and I will see you then. Bye. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Ty.